Welcome to Cooking with Chef V, and today we're getting ready to make soups and sandwiches. One of the best meals that you can have during this cold weather. I live in Detroit, Michigan, so we just got hit with a snowstorm. It is like 3 below outside, and I am freezing. So today we're going to make some delicious soups, and we're going to make some sandwiches that's going to satisfy your taste buds. So let's go to the grocery store, get our list that we need, and we'll be right back. So let's go ahead and get some leeks, some russet potatoes, some sourdough bread, some chicken broth or vegetable broth. Gonna get some turkey or ham, then you're gonna get some Swiss. So today we're gonna be making a VICHYSSOISE cold leek and potato soup, which was invented in America back in 1917, I believe, by a French chef. He was the head chef of the Ritz-Carlton. He's from France. It sounds like a French term, so I would guess it's a French soup. So what we're going to do now, we're going to cut our leek up. We're going to take off that green part and the bottom part. The green part you can either toss in the trash or you can keep it for some stock. That's about the only thing you can do with that because it's real coarse and it's harsh. Like, it doesn't taste good. Just like a bay leaf, you can't eat it. So after you have cut the top and bottom off, you're gonna cut your leeks up into like circle shapes. The reason why, because there's so many layers to a leek, and we want to make sure that when we wash our leeks that we get in between the different layers, because there's a lot of dirt that be hiding that you cannot see. So we're going to place our leeks inside of a bowl of water, and we're just going to let that sit in order for some of that dirt to sink to the bottom. Then you're going to get a russet potato, because this type of potato, the reason why we're using this type of potato, because it's real starchy. I don't know what kind of potatoes they serve in your country or your state or city, but make sure the potato you use has a lot of starch. It is good for the soup that we're making. Now you're going to cut your potato up. Make sure you dice it into small pieces. You don't want big chunks of potatoes. We're not making mashed potatoes. We're making a soup, so we're going to have to puree the potato. And then after you have done so, you're going to place it in a bowl of water, because how many know that potatoes, after you cut them, they tend to turn brown, which can be very harsh and bitter tasting. Then you're going to put you a stick of butter, depending on the size of the soup you're making, either a teaspoon or tablespoon or a whole stick of butter. And then you're going to saute these leeks. And we want to be careful not to brown our leeks. So we're going to add in a pinch of salt. The salt is going to keep the leeks from turning a brown color. And we're just going to give that a stir. And then we're going to add in our potatoes. Make sure you drain your water. As you can see, it was still a little water inside of my bowl. So we're going to make sure we drain our water, and we're going to give that a stir. Make sure everything is incorporated together. And then after so, we're going to add in our chicken broth. Now you can add in some vegetable broth if you want to keep it vegetarian. This is just an option. So do it the way that you feel. Then you're going to place a top on top so that you can go ahead and finish the cooking process. Make sure you check on it so that it doesn't burn. Give it a stir. Make sure everything is still cooking properly and that your heat is on medium-high heat. Make sure you don't have your heat turned all the way up to try to make it cook faster. We don't want it to cook faster. We want it to be tender and taste good. So afterwards, you want to get your immersion blender. Mine broke, so I had to use what I had, but you don't want to use anything like this because it will overmix the soup. And then we're gonna strain our potatoes, because we want a soup. We don't want potatoes. We don't want a thick potato soup. So after we strain it, it should look something like this, a little bit more soupier. And then we're going to add in our whipping cream. The whipping cream is going to change the color of the texture, and it's also going to make it look soupier, as you can see. And you're just going to give that a stir. Now, after you have mixed all your ingredients, your soup should look just like that. It shouldn't look like potatoes, but it should just drip, 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 drip like a soup. And then we're going to give it an ice bath. This will stop the cooking process because it's a cold soup and it's served cold. Now let's go ahead and plate and taste our delicious soup that we just made. I hope you guys enjoyed this French. Well, it was made in America, but I hope you guys enjoyed this French recipe. Now let's make our Monte Cristo sandwich. So the first thing you want to do is get you a mixing bowl, and we're going to mix together our egg wash for our sandwich. If you're doing one sandwich, you just need one egg. If you're doing two or three sandwiches, then I suggest that you add another egg or so. And we're going to whisk the ingredients together until we have like a pale yellow color. Normally this sandwich is served with a jam, but today I'm gonna use mayonnaise. So if you want to use just butter or you want to use jam, mayo, mayonnaise, it's pretty much up to you. However you do it, I'm telling you, it'll turn out just fine. It's going to be a delicious sandwich because everybody don't like mayonnaise or mayo. So some people just like their sandwich plain, but it doesn't matter in this case. Do it however you want to do it. Just make sure that you do not overload your sandwich. You want to make sure that your cheese melt and that your meat get hot, so you don't want to overdo it. So I'm going to add some Swiss cheese. You can either use one or you can use two. In this case, I'm gonna use two. So we're gonna put some butter. You can melt your butter, or you can just put butter on both sides of the bread. It's up to you. I just added some butter to it. And then we're going to take like a teaspoon or a tablespoon of butter, and we're going to melt it over a low heat. And then we're going to dip our sandwich in our egg wash. After so, we're going to place on the stove, and we're just going to let each side brown like so. Look at the cheese. Isn't this a delicious looking sandwich? I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this recipe as much as I have. Don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on your notifications, and share the video.